What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying my videos. I want to show you chop and drop. So I've talked a lot about it in some of my videos, talked about the Fakahatchee grass, talked about that Mexican sunflower, and now I just want to show you that example of that chop and drop. And we're going to bring it over here to one of our loquat trees. So I've got Ian with me here today. He's hanging out, and we're going to chop this thing for you real quick. So we'll let you see how quickly we could take down, you know, I would say almost a 10-foot Mexican sunflower here on the farm, or Tithonia diversifolia. So let's chop it into a bundle and we'll take it over to that loquat for him, Ian.
All right.
And Ian's just using his trusty Felco 2 hand pruners.
Felco pruners.
Those are pretty much a must-have for a serious food forester, horticulturist, you know, anybody that's out there working in the garden. You know, I'll put a link for this in the bio, and you know, please buy through my Amazon store. We get a small kickback off of that. We really appreciate the support. And I can promise you, you know, you invest in a good pair of hand pruners like this, you know, they're gonna last you until you lose them, or until they get stolen. You know, these things don't break. They sell parts for them. You know, if you do chip a blade, if you do break a spring, I mean, they have replacement parts. These are made in Switzerland. You know, they're made to last. So spend a couple of bucks on your hand pruners. You know, you're gonna be using these things all the time. You know, it's a very well-made investment, we find. So I love this plant. It has beautiful soft foliage on it, pound for pound equal to chicken manure, dynamic accumulator. And you can see, I mean, I've got probably 1,000 pounds of it on that trailer over here from that front row. We're gonna bring that back to the bananas. And the reason I'm not dropping it in place is because we have a really well-established nitrogen fixing ground cover through this entire front bed. I have mimosa and I have black bean that's really starting to establish nicely. So, you know, this thing will grow back to the height of the fence within a month. Right now, Ian's cutting it back to about 2 foot, and I'd say they grow about a foot a week here, you know, with our monsoonal rains and high heat. So I'm not sure how long that was, but I would say it probably wasn't much longer than a minute, and it's pretty much almost all the way cut down to the ground. And it's very important to always get those outside pieces on this Mexican sunflower, because if those do touch back down to the ground, they will reroot themselves. You know, I mean, this plant, you know, some people will say, you know, it's invasive, or it's gotten a bit of bad reputation because of the way it grows like that and how it'll stick back down to the ground. So how much poop you hold, Ian?
About 40 pounds. 40
pounds of poop. So, you know, and he's not getting poop on him. There's no flies on this. It doesn't smell funny. So we're gonna take this over to the loquat tree for you, and then we're gonna cut that grass next. So, all right, so we're on a Premier loquat. I believe this is supposed to be a dwarf variety. You can see we've tipped it a couple times. It's got multiple points on it. We've never fertilized it. It's not on irrigation. And we're gonna chop and drop that Tithonia Mexican sunflower right on here. And you can see this thing has a couple of root suckers coming up off the bottom. That's below the graft, so we're gonna cut those off of there. And it's really important when we're putting this Tithonia and this Mexican sunflower around the base of the tree that we're not building it up too high on the collar. You know, we don't want to keep anything there that's gonna hold moisture, or, you know, possibly begin to rot that tree. So Ian, if you want to cut those back real quick and just kind of show them how we lay it around the tree for us. I am noticing a couple of red ants on here. We'll try putting some, you know, diatomaceous earth or maybe tanglefoot on the bottom of that tree and see if we can stop the problem. It doesn't seem to be affecting the health of the tree whatsoever. And you can see, I really like to lay a triangle around the tree. You can see Ian kind of just bent that. And now next we're gonna put that Fakahatchee grass on top of there, you know, and that's that high carbon, you know, that high silica. And that, what that does for us is that really kind of shields it from the sun. So, you know, down here in Florida with our really intense heat and sun that we have, you know, if this was outside just in the pure sun like he's putting it right now, without the Fakahatchee grass on top, I mean, it would just completely melt in a couple of days. I mean, it'll be black. There's not gonna be much left of it. So when we lay that Fakahatchee grass, that high carbon, that high silica on top, it almost kind of makes like a slow release fertilizer. It really slows the breakdown, really keeps that green manure, green material here much longer. So he's almost done. I'd say 2 minutes. You know, he cut down that giant Mexican sunflower and then brought it over here to this loquat and laid it around the bottom. I'm probably slowing him down a little bit with the camera too.
Just a little bit. Just
a little bit. So that's dropped. Let's get that high carbon, high silica. All right, so here's that native Fakahatchee grass, and it actually has beautiful little seed pods on it right now. And I've never seen this spread from seed. I've definitely gotten that question a few times. Had a lot of people ask about getting seed for this plant, but I think commercially, it's probably spread by root division. So can't really get a good focus on that right now, but there's actually some type of beneficial insect on there. Beautiful looking flowers. I mean, this thing has 7.5 foot flower spikes on it right now. We usually don't let them get this big, and let's show them the tool that we use actually to cut that back. So that's just a Corona, like basically like a large set of scissors. Yeah. We can cut this back really quick with these and pick it up, and we'll bring it over there and lay it on top of that loquat. So Ian, you want to show them an example on how we cut this back? And you can cut it a little shorter if you want to. That height is fine also. It really, you can see, boom, I said something, he took the head off of it. Kind of like giving a haircut. So if you're good at giving yourself a buzz cut, you'll get good at this. You can shape them like little balls. I think, what are we, 30 seconds, 35 seconds into this, it's completely cut down. And he's just gonna pick up all that high carbon, that high silica. And like I said, that doesn't really break down too well. That's definitely much slower in the breakdown process. So we lay that on top of the Mexican sunflower. This is like putting a shield on it. And then we're getting that carbon nitrogen ratio. We're growing the fertilizer here on the farm, guys. So handful of Fakahatchee grass coming into the loquat, and we're just gonna lay it right on top of there. Like I said, see how he's not putting it on the base? He's leaving room there by the collar of the tree, the graft. Don't want to build it up on there. That's almost completely shielded from the sun now. He probably has one more handful of Fakahatchee grass. And what I've found is, when you're developing your food forest, when you're developing your property, really look at the amount of Mexican sunflower, the amount of Fakahatchee per tree that you're planting, and how many you need. So I have one loquat behind me, for example. That one huge Mexican sunflower was enough for this. So let's say, it's almost like that companion planting or that guild planting. One Mexican sunflower, one Fakahatchee grass per tree. And plus we have all these other things that are here to, bring in beneficial insects. Everything from that sweet almond, that elderberry, that vitex, goldenrod out there. There's a whole slew of different scents and smells out here in this garden. That's what it's about, guys. It's all about this diversity. So pretty much almost done chopping and dropping here. You can see, that's built up almost 2 feet around the base of the tree. Within a couple of days, it'll definitely start to settle a little more, but it's protected. That Mexican sunflower is not going to break down like it would have now that it has that high carbon, high silica on top of it. So one thing I do want to point out to you real quick, here's that finished product on the Fakahatchee grass. Be really careful working with Fakahatchee grass. You want to keep this stuff away from your eyes. It is very sharp. I've heard that, if the side of this blade hits your eyeball, you can be blinded. I don't believe your eye can heal from that cut. It's very sharp. So just be careful working with this stuff. Ian didn't have his safety glasses on, so wanted to point that out to you. He's a experienced food forester, to say the least. So I'm gonna forage a little bit as I'm talking. It's that cranberry hibiscus. And thank you all for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. Hope you all have a great day.